सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Hari Om. In our earlier two discourses or dialogues, we have tried to see at a holistic picture what Sanatana Dharma, otherwise known as Hinduism, the basic four ways to understand Hinduism. The first of which was to define God and how do you relate to that God, that we have seen in our earlier video. Now in this present video, we will try to discuss as to what are the scriptures that direct a Hindu. The scriptures are known as Veda. Veda, the etymological derivation means, or it starts from the root word with. The Sanskrit root word with means to know. All that which is necessary for a human to know has been stated, given in the Vedic literature. From the most mundane materialistic perspective to the most intense spiritual perspective is given in the Vedas. These Vedas are four: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda and Atharva Veda. There are Vedangas, the auxiliary limbs of the Vedas. There are Upavedas, subsidiary Vedas. All this put together is the core of a Hindu scripture. Apart from this main core scripture, the next we have is called the Itihasa. Itihasa means history of the Hindu culture, Sanatana Dharma. There are two histories. One is called Ramayana, the second one is called Mahabharata. Ramayana is a story of Lord Rama. Mahabharata is a story of Lord Krishna and his help to the Pandavas, though mainly it centers around the Pandavas. What does Itihasa mean? Itihasa, again etymologically derived, iti ha asa. Iti, like this, as stated in Ramayana and Mahabharata. Ha, indeed, asa, happened. Thus, as stated in these books, they had really happened. Hence, therefore, it would not be right to call Ramayana, Mahabharata and the other scriptures of the Sanatana Dharma as mythology or mythological characters, because the root word for mythology is myth, myth meaning fiction. Our scriptures are not fiction. They are genuine, written. In fact, Valmiki was the contemporary who wrote down this entire entire Ramayana as it was happening, and even Lord Rama had a chance to hear the story through his own children, Lava and Kusha. Mahabharata, which was written by sage Vedavyasa, he is a part and parcel of this entire Mahabharata epic. He, along with the help of Lord Ganesha, writes down this entire Mahabharata. The Ramayana has 24,000 shlokas or verses, whereas the Mahabharata has got 100,000 verses, shlokas. This is about Itihasa. Now the third one is called the Purana. There are 18 of them, the main ones, and there are 18 Upapuranas, auxiliary texts. These Puranas' main theme is to describe, identify and to narrate various aspects of God and his creation. Like, for example, Srimad Bhagavata Purana describes various avatars of Lord Vishnu. The prominent one, which is being discussed in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, is about Lord Krishna. There are other avatars also mentioned, not just the 10. So it is about the avatars of the Lord, about the devotees of that Lord, and various interactions of those devotees with that Lord. In order to sustain and prove certain aspects of this Purana, the sages have introduced certain stories which may be trying to prove a certain point, may not be as they have happened, but they are used for the purpose of highlighting a certain subtler point. But the rest of the main frame of these Puranas still remains as a concrete fact and not a myth. So the Puranas are 18 in number, and the auxiliary Puranas are also 18 in number, all of which have been written down by sage Vedavyasa. Now sage Vedavyasa with our scriptures stands as a tall pillar to recognize, pillar of clarity to recognize, because of whom today we have the scriptures written in a written format, until which these scriptures were handed down by one generation of guru to the next generation of the students with just by hearing. That's why they were called Shruti. And it was for the first time this cumbersome task of compiling all these Vedas that existed into the written format was done by sage Vedavyasa. And he has also compiled the entire Mahabharata, written down 18 Puranas and 18 Upapuranas. Apart from this, he has also written the Brahma Sutras, the crux of the entire Vedic knowledge, as it has to be understood. So we have discussed about the Shruti, we have discussed about the Itihasa, we have discussed about the Purana. Now the last one which is left, a part of our scriptures, is called the Smriti Granthas. There are 14 main Smriti Granthas, of which the main prominent one is called Manusmriti. This gives us the code of conduct for our way of living. Let me be very clear here, since we are talking about Manusmriti, almost 99% of humanity does not follow 99% of what Manu has prescribed for human beings, well-being and good way of life leading towards happiness. Because of this, we find that the humanity is constantly restless. In today's standards of morality and ethics, we may or we may not subscribe to what Manu has prescribed, but yet what he has prescribed is from the ultimate standpoint of human evolution towards their own center of being, so that they can eternally be happy, so that their pursuit is not happiness, but their existence is happiness. Now, in order to understand Manusmriti, one has to go through the Sanskrit language. In fact, all these scriptures are written down in Sanskritam. As the word suggests, Sanskritam means that which is well researched. Kritam, researched. Samyak kritam, well researched. That even today the scientists find that Sanskrit as a language has got a uniqueness that you can write computer codes, languages, like you have C++ and DOS, various languages of the computer sciences. You can actually write them in Sanskrit. It is that precise in its expression. This Sanskritam again is of two types. Sanskritam is the Vedic Sanskrit. Vedic Sanskrit does have 9 grammars, and sorry to state that these 9 grammars have been lost in time. Whereas the present day Sanskrit was written down by a great Rishi, Panini. Panini's grammar, called Ashtadhyayi, chapters of 8. These 8 chapters, he beautifully puts down the entire Sanskrit grammar. Understanding this Sanskrit grammar, understanding what the scriptures have to say in the Vedas, in the Itihasa, in the Puranas and in the Smriti Granthas, Sanskrit becomes a key factor in our clarity. Well, we may say we do not have that much of time, we do not have that opportunity to read through the entire gamut of scriptures. So Lord Krishna, in his message to Arjuna, gives a beautiful treaty of the entire Vedic knowledge. I call that as a user-friendly, handy-dandy user book of life called Bhagavad Gita. In this Bhagavad Gita, he covers the entire Vedic knowledge. As the end of each chapter, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, so in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, what is it that is being described? Upanishatsu, the essence of Upanishads. Brahma Sutra has been the essence of Brahma Sutras, and the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, all of which has been the essence has been taken and put in nutshell in these 700 beautiful verses as a message to Arjuna when he was confused. So in this particular discussion, we have seen that what does the scripture Veda mean, what is Itihasa, what does Purana mean, what does the Smriti Granthas mean, and what is the medium in which all of these have been written and how to understand them. Now in our next video, we will try to see the next aspect of understanding Sanatana Dharma, also known as Hinduism, which is the code of conduct. Until then, Hari Om.